Diseases, specifically fungal diseases, are very prevalent in our gardens this time of year and definitely something that we need to try and stay on top of. Today we'll be going over some of the most common diseases, what they look like, if you can prevent them, and what you can do to possibly treat them. Hey friends, I'm Karen with Green Thumb Gourmet. Welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, we're very happy you're here. I'm inside filming today because the heat and humidity outside are brutal and it's supposed to rain pretty soon. And if you know Florida's weather, then you know what I'm talking about how unpredictable it can be. So I'm in the nice AC for our talk today. First of all, we're going to talk about the fungal disease that we all recognize probably, and we've seen it, is powdery mildew. Looks like a gray or white fuzzy growth on your leaves, and it's spread through spores traveling through the air, and all gardens get this fungal disease at some point, and it is treatable, so don't panic. And later in the video, I'll be giving you tips on prevention and possible treatments for those. But first, we're going to list the problems and give you an idea of what they look like. Rust is another common disease that you'll find fairly often in your garden, especially here in the South. And when it gets really warm and humid, those appear as orangey, rusty looking little spots on the leaves, and they can eventually kill your whole plant. So you want to treat it right away, cut off the diseased parts, and do not compost them because you don't want to spread it to anything else. So just throw those leaves away. And number 3 problem is mosaic virus, and it's like a mosaic sort of pattern on the leaves. And here's an example of that. It can be spread by your hands or tools or pests, or go to other plants in the wind, or it can come right in seeds right to begin with. So make sure you have a trusted source that you like to buy your seeds from, so that you're not putting in infected seeds and growing infected plants right from the start. And that's a pretty important thing too. And number 4 is bacterial specked anthracnose. It looks really bad, but it won't kill your whole plant. Normally it's the brown spots with the yellow ring that overlap. And in a severe case, it can affect the fruit, but normally you can treat it long enough so that at least you can get a harvest before you have to pull the plant out. And number 5 is septoria leaf spot. It looks like 1/4 inch spots with a dark brown ring around the outside and light tan in the circle in the middle. And this is a treatable fungus as well, so you can normally get a good harvest still. And number 6 is Verticillium wilt. First sign of that are leaves curl and wilt, and they discolor and they fall off. Or Fusarium wilt is similar. The first signs of that are leaves yellow and fade, and they're both fungal disease, and they come from the soil into plants, which means you have contaminated soil and you can't get rid of it in the soil for 2 to 3 years. So you can harvest your crop, but afterwards pull the plant, throw the plant away, destroy it, do not compost it. You don't want this to spread anywhere else, and it can't be cured. So you want to use crop rotation, and do not grow tomatoes, melons, cucumbers, peppers, squash, things like that for 3 years in that same area. Grow other crops there instead who are not susceptible to those diseases, because it takes a while for it to get out of the soil. And number 7 is blight. Early blight starts early in the spring. Late blight obviously starts later in the summer. It can be treated but not cured. You can usually harvest your crops still and then pull the plants and throw them away at the end of the season, and do not compost them, but you can still get a harvest and hold it off long enough for you to be able to get those good fruits that you've worked so hard for. And as far as prevention and treatment, sometimes it can be really hard to tell all of these apart, even if you have pictures and examples. So the good news is you don't always need to identify exactly which problem you have. Most of the funguses have the same preventive measures and also treatments, and are basically the same for each. So we're going to kind of go over those and give you some ideas for that. Prevention is always use your watering mechanism in the morning so that your plants have a chance to dry in the midday sun. Water from below whenever possible. Try to keep your leaves dry, especially when you're having a fungus problem. And just try, if you're watering the soil, not to let it splash up. Keep the bottom leaves of the plant pruned, so when you do water, splashing up to the leaves isn't as easy and more preventable. And prune off any diseased leaves you see right away. A healthy plant that doesn't have to use energy on diseased leaves will always be stronger and able to fight those things off. And keep air flowing by not planting them too close together, especially where you have humidity is a big factor in your season, especially here in the South. When it's hot and humid, it's a good idea to keep that airflow and keep them separated. Be sure to plant in sunny locations also, because this helps keep dry off the dew from the night, keep the leaves drier and disease free if they have enough sun to dry it up. And maybe the very most important thing is rotating your crops if you've had a problem. If the problem is persistent with the same disease and the same fungus, try a different area in your garden. Try different plants from not the same family. Try to rotate a different type of variety that isn't related to that particular plant. Sometimes that confuses the pests and will give you another option for planting something that you're getting the same fungus over and over again. If the problem is severe and persistent, cleaning out that plant bed or that particular area and getting rid of that soil somewhere else and not using it to grow vegetables, and put new soil and compost in the next season and just start over. In severe cases, sometimes that's what you have to do. If you have tried other things and they haven't worked, then I have resorted to this one time. And treatment, always test a small portion of the leaves before you try some kind of new solution, just so you don't damage the whole plant. And there are several effective treatments for these problems. First, I usually mix 3 tablespoons of baking soda in a gallon of water. Make sure that you add a couple of drops of dish soap because it helps that stick to the leaves, and spray it when the sun goes down so it can sit overnight and it won't burn the leaves. And spray it by saturating the infected leaves on top and underneath till it's dripping off, and it kills those on contact. And you can wash off the next day so that the leaves will not burn. Number 2 option is 1 cup of 3% strength hydrogen peroxide in a gallon of water. Shake it up, mix it up, then put it in your sprayer or hand sprayer. Spray it all over, top, bottom, everywhere, just like the baking soda. This treatment is the one I use the most, and it is very effective for preventing fungus and mold from progressing, as well as the maintenance and curing it. Sometimes if it's really severe, get rid of the worst leaves and then spray the rest of the plant with this, and it works very, very well for me normally. And the third option, if the infected area is bad enough, you can use an organic copper-based fungicide spray, and it will state on the bottle that it's organic and it's copper-based fungicide, which can be ordered on either Amazon or big box stores. You can get it in, and spray it on the leaves in the infected areas, the same as the other 2 applications, top, bottom, completely. Don't do it when the sun is out. Try to do it at the end of the day so it can work overnight and it won't burn your leaves. And this is normally a really effective treatment. That's the big guns when the other stuff doesn't work. As far as frequency, reapply these once a week until you've cleared up the problem. Sometimes it takes just 1 application if you catch it early, but sometimes it could take up to 3. So I normally use the hydrogen peroxide method because it's most cost effective and it usually works in most cases. And if that isn't strong enough, then I move to the stronger fungicide organic spray. These treatments work well, but even with the best preventative measures, you can still get these diseases, and sometimes they get pretty bad. So that's why walking through your garden daily helps you spot a problem early, and you can possibly start treating it right away. And even with these treatments, sometimes they won't go away. And in that case, if it's bad enough and it takes over your whole plant, it's just better to start over and go into the next round. Just pull your plant and consider it a learning experience and try not to dwell on it too much. After all, you'll get another chance to plant next season. So I normally put in some of my favorites in a protected area just for my little insurance policy. This way I always have the veggies that I love the most, and I pamper those. And don't get too discouraged though. All of our gardens get it, and it happens to everyone. And the next time around, you might even get a bumper crop of what didn't do well this year. Sometimes it just happens. So if you know about anything gardening in the South, then you've probably figured out by now that our best growing season is in the fall and winter. Less heat, less humidity, less gigantic rainstorms, less pest pressure, less problems, period. The fall planting season is glorious. So my next video, I'm going to walk you through planting your fall garden from seed starting, and we'll begin in August and September. So you'll need to decide what you want to plant and then start collecting your seeds. And I'll be telling you what I'm planting and the varieties and when to start planting them. So if you're interested in that kind of information, please like and subscribe so that you'll be alerted for when my next video comes out. And you'll be able to share that information and see for yourself what I'm going to be doing for the next season. I also have a link in the description of all my videos that will take you right to my garden, and you'll first see a picture of the garden, and then if you scroll right below it, you can access the list, and it shows you everything that I have growing at the moment in my garden, the variety, and when is the time to plant it, and how long it takes until harvest, and sometimes even extra little notes I put in there. So that's a helpful resource, and especially if you're a beginner or you don't know what you should be putting in and when, that's a good resource for you. So I hope you've gotten something good and useful out of today's episode. Thanks for joining me. Happy gardening, and see you next time.